Right, welcome everyone to session 40 of The Space Between, and we're going to start off, as usual, with a recap from last time, this time from Cherry.
All right. This is Cherry's personal video diary, where she takes her notes for what to turn into videos later. But this is really just to keep track of everything later, so she has the raw material. So, session 39 recap, Cherry's perspective, I should say. So, Zeke and I found a campsite near the ruins. It looks alarmingly fresh, or at least fresher than we'd have liked it to be. I was hoping it would be like kind of ancient, but what do you do? Zeke found a scrap of fabric with some sort of like disgusting stain on it, like probably blood, barf. Um, and that he then was about to shove it in his pocket. Thankfully, I stopped him and made it put it in a baggie before he ruined what little evidence we had. I will say though, after finding nothing else, I was starting to feel scared we wouldn't find enough information to share with the captain without revealing Zeke's like gift. That may seem like not a big deal. Like just tell her, right? Why be dramatic? But it's not my secret to tell, so I asked him to use his gift to see if he could use anything else. I kept watch with Barry in case the people who had camped here were still nearby and didn't like us snooping. But to be honest, I couldn't help but observe Zeke a little bit as well while he used this new ability because, like, he knows like hardly anything about it. So, like, what does it even look like? Well, apparently, it looks like you're daydreaming for a handful of seconds until it looks like someone just barely avoided falling backwards in a chair they tipped too far back in. Kind of underwhelming. Anyway, he saw this was like a meeting place for the colony and the natives, and that it served as like the boundary between the two and the direction one of them came from, which is like super important. He thinks that's safe, like to assume that like their home is in that direction. And I'm really nervous about confronting them. If I'm honest, what I saw in that vision with Zeke and not knowing if what happened was on purpose or not, will they even want to meet more humans? I mean, I really don't know if this is the best move. I know it was my idea, but it really feels like the only way forward. But I don't know if that means it's the best thing for us. Anyway, we tried to go down the path, if you could even call it that, towards their home, only to trigger a trap. I felt super embarrassed that I didn't catch it, but more than embarrassed, I had a pounding headache to remind me of my foolishness for the rest of the day. Zeke also got hit, but I think I took the brunt of it. If I do say so myself. Thankfully, he was still okay to teleport us back to the ship, so I guess it's fine that like he didn't get hurt as much as me. Unfortunately, Eva was in the cargo bay when we popped back in. Fortunately, she was really busy making a pen. Um, Unfortunately, I was still wincing because of my head. Fortunately, Zeke took point on explaining most of what happened. Unfortunately, Eva told us she was building a bigger pen because Apple is pregnant. Our ship is becoming more like a zoo each day, I swear. What's even worse is that Apple might actually be the cutest pregnant being I've ever seen, and it's going to take a literal intervention to get Bo to let go of even one of her pups. Well, for now, there's not much we can do about it, but help her the best we can. I made Bo a congratulations card, sending it along with Ryu, and I set to work on carving a melon for Apple. I was kind of tickled to discover that not only does Bo hate glitter, I mean, I knew he had bad taste, but come on, but he didn't realize the card was from me somehow. Sorry, Rio, this was too funny an opportunity to pass up. I'm going to have to figure out how to make it up to him later. I did go later to ask Zeke how he thought things would go, how he felt, and I was kind of entertained to find out he was actually most worried about Apple. That dumb rat has cast a spell on this crew or something. I started trying to assure him she'd be fine and that I was more worried about whether or not we'd be okay. Hello? With meeting the native people. He zoned out in one of his visions again and came back to say, we should bring gifts. my hands still smell like melon, so I can already think of several things to take. Here's hoping this isn't my last entry. End of transmission.
That
I
was just beautiful.
enjoyed the unfortunately, fortunately roller coaster.
hmm
I enjoyed writing it.
Alrighty, so um, brings us to the start of our session. Kicking off where we left off last time, and not having gotten a whole lot of responses. I don't think any. Yeah, not any responses to what Danielle had put in planning yesterday. Do you guys want to talk about some of that, or did you want to start off with something else?
No, that sounds fun to me.
Danielle, do you want to take point on this since you wrote the message?
Um, I mean, I figure everyone in the group is literate, so they could just read it and tell me what they think.
That works too.
Cool.
Just have
I
a
think
moment of silence.
well, I was going to say, I think I hear like the rumblings of a WWE SmackDown starting in the kids' room. So I was thinking I'd pop my head in while people were looking at things.
Oh, that's no fun. Let
Free
kids be kids.
capybara.
There, I
Well,
tapped an out of character planning. Do you want to poke your head in there, babe? And I can, I guess.
yeah, let me do
Okay.
that so you guys can do some planning and brainstorming that
Okay.
so that you guys have an
Cool.
idea what you want to do tonight.
Robert, are you still here? Because I saw you say you might have to go help with bedtime with kid.
I'm here for the moment, at least.
Okay.
I kept hearing her going da 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 da
Yeah.
da da
Gotcha.
nonstop, and so Andrea
Awesome.
popped out with
All
her.
right.
So
Neat. All right.
Yep.
So what was I gonna say? Ah,
far as planning, um, I don't know how the aliens would react to Pete being a robot.
so yeah. What was your thoughts on trying to make the battle training robot a little less intimidating?
I mean, they're aliens. It's not like putting on a tie is gonna make him look less threatening.
What
A
about like a
human might
jacket or
be like,
something?
oh, okay, he could be less threatening, but an alien wouldn't necessarily be like, oh, hey, look, he's wearing a tie. Maybe he's nice.
Well,
What about a full outfit
if you
though? Sorry, Daniel. Go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just asking, like, what if he actually covers up more? Wears a full set of clothing.
um, maybe he could do that, especially if like Eva or somebody smarter than him suggests it. I don't know that he'd be quite smart enough to think about that.
Hmm.
He'd be like, okay, look non-threatening. I guess I'll put on my hat and tie.
I knew the hat and tie would come in handy.
Yep. Magnetic tie and hat. Yep.
That's right. It was magnetic too.
Robot clip-on.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, if somebody suggests it, he'll be like, oh, you think I actually have to like dress up so they don't look so worried? Or either that or they'll think I'm crazy.
Well, it's entirely likely that Cherry is going to have things to say about Eva's choice of attire, so maybe Pete can just get wrapped into that.
Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted by a kid trying to eat a tomato out of my hand. Um,
Get that tomato away from him. It's poisonous, or her.
yeah,
What?
she loves a good tomato though. So sorry, I missed part of what you said, but yeah, in general, so long as Eva says something, he'll be like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll do that."
Nah, I was saying that it's likely that Eva is going to need some guidance also. And so maybe Pete can just get wrapped up in when Cherry inevitably comes and helps Eva.
I mean, it could also be that Zeke literally looks at him and just goes, "You need to put on clothes," and people be like, "What are you talking about?"
Could be Zeke too, yeah.
Yeah,
It'd be a fun scene
he
to
did the
see.
vision after all. We should bring gifts, and you should wear clothes.
Oh yeah, can Zeke tell Pete what he was wearing?
Probably. And then he can add some extra color to it because he wants to try changing the future.
Oh,
Oh, I see.
no.
Oh, and you were wearing this purple tie with dinosaurs on it.
Oh boy. I
With
mean, he'd
a,
probably be like, "I don't know, but okay."
I fully support this Zeke Pete uh fashion bonding.
So yeah, he'll dress up in a way that's less threatening looking, I suppose, less combat robot looking.
oof.
What do Zeke and Pete end up landing on then?
Um, I would think like a basic pair of like explorer style cargo pants and shirt, and then Pete's like, "Oh, the tie should be these purple dinosaur tie."
You gotta wear a white beater over the shirt.
Oh
Over
no.
this shirt.
No.
I think he'd look at Zeke and be like, "Okay, look, I know I'm dense, but I'm not that dense."
That's what you were wearing in the vision.
And he'll just be like, "Yeah, no."
Would he take off the purple tie after he realized Zeke was lying to him?
No, he'd probably keep the purple tie, but he'd be like, "Wife beater over the shirt? That's just dumb."
Well, that was
Like
an
a poor
interesting
man's
comment to come back to.
Yeah, I bet.
Okay, I actually also have to go check on the baby, but don't- you'll know what Zeke was trying to do. Don't even play.
All right, so how's it going? What are we doing?
I think it mostly was Dex and Robert talking about robot clothes with a little bit of input from Avery.
Hmm.
A little bit of
So
Okay.
trolling from Avery. Fun trolling.
Okie dokie. Oh, tomato destruction. All right, so do we need some rails, or how do you guys want to move forward here?
Oh,
sure.
sounds like Robert knows what Pete's wearing.
All right, so that's were we working on figuring out what everybody's wearing?
Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. So I think Cherry would just, you know, try to tell people like, hey, we want to put our best foot forward, so please try and not look like a murderous caravan of adventurers.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
So,
I was gonna say that Eva doesn't change anything. Doesn't think that she looks like a murderous caravan of adventurers, and she looks
Fantastic.
fine as she is.
right, so in Grease Monkey workshop outfit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I like it. Um, then we've got. Oh, say what?
No, it's fine. I opened something and a video auto played.
Oh,
Mm,
so obnoxious.
kidding. Let's see then. So, right, so we've got a couple people wearing their more or less normal stuff. Sounds like Pete is. I guess I missed that, but is he wearing some of the stuff that he got from Loinuda, or was this something else?
He'd be wearing like some basic explorer type clothes, like
Oh, okay.
cargo pant, khaki kind of things, and shirt. No
Okay.
wife beater over top like Zeke was trying to tease him about, and a purple dinosaur tie.
All right. Nice. um, so does he have like some changes of like, oversized? I don't know if he would need like double or triple XL or something like that because I seem to remember the idea being that he's a bit of a bulky, um, sort of uh, sparring robot
Yeah, he's pretty
model.
bulky, so he's
Okay.
got some like big and tall kind of extra size
Okay.
clothes, so it actually can work.
Okay. Cool.
It's not as fancy of a fit as the Lohain Udas stuff, but it's good enough.
Yeah, it's what he had picked for himself. Um, all right, and I guess that just leaves Bo pretty much. I think he was maybe the most in question in terms of choosing particular clothing.
Yeah, I don't know. His two options for clothing so far have been like looking like he's going to go to a rock concert or the suit they got for him.
Yeah, and so I guess how would he respond to this instruction of try to dress nicely or not look intimidating?
I think he balks some about the idea of having to traipse through the woods in his suit.
Cherry.
And going without his multitude of weapons in a place where he was just hunting velociraptors and being hunted by them.
Yeah.
I think that she would approve of the suit. She'd be like, "Yeah, that doesn't strike us as intimidating, I guess."
So I think you maybe misheard. Ethan was saying Bo would push back a little bit at the idea that he should wear his suit to traipse
Oh,
through the
sorry, the
woods.
audio was cutting out.
Oh, okay.
That's unfortunate. Anyway, um, she would tell him, I'm not asking you to wear a suit. I'm just asking you to maybe not bring a million guns and maybe, I don't know, wash the blood out of your hair."
Hmm. Like, oh, I thought I got all that.
Yeah, he's like, wait, what? Where?
Well, I guess there's something in between I can figure out.
What is so hard to figure out?
Oh no, I don't really wear much besides my regular old clothes.
Hmm.
Jerry makeover. Jerry makeover.
No, we don't have those resources.
I'll say, but I guess I got something. And then he'll go change into. They say they almost look like homespun, you know, kind of country living clothes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's what's up.
So that he's got Ace look like almost like a homemade wool Henley kind of thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. A little blast from his past, baby.
So,
I'm here for it.
Yeah. And does
Jerry would approve.
did Cherry have notes for Eva also?
Yeah. So what does Eva look like showing up?
Oh, just her usual grease stained overalls and the white shirt. She thinks she looks fine. This is how a working person who works with their hands should look.
I really don't think that they're going to care that you work with your hands. I think they're going to care that you're supposed to be the captain.
But they'll see that I'm more than just someone on a starship. That do they know what starships are? I
Mm,
think they should see someone who knows how to fix things.
I think that showing them that you are a competent and someone to be well respected captain would
I think
be
that if I had to
maybe
change,
the
you
best.
got to change.
Yeah, what Bo said. A good example to your crew.
Bro, getting real over here.
Okay. I just don't want to, tear anything nice or anything, right?
I don't know.
You'll
Put
be
on your
fine.
least greasy pair of overalls.
Oh, I can do that. Sure.
No, Cherry would guide her to find the outfit she'd given her before.
Okay. Eva doesn't put up too much more of a fight.
Yeah, I feel like there's like a path here for at some point, getting Eva some sort of like custom made, maybe even like monogrammed, like higher quality mechanic outfit. Maybe not exactly like the one piece coveralls kind of thing, but maybe close, and have that be like her her dressy working uniform.
I feel like it's more likely she just spends our first piece of pre-tech components on holographic clothing.
That's funny. It's like that way I can wear what I want and still look, whatever Cherry wants me to look.
Just let Cherry program it.
Yeah.
I think maybe Eve is a little bit too practical for that, though.
Mm-hmm.
Those pre-tech parts could go to way better things.
Yeah, seems likely in her case. Alrighty. I think we have everybody sorted pretty much. I'm assuming Zeke's typical outfit is going to pass muster.
Zeke just always looks classy.
Yeah. Always mildly dressed up.
His shirt's tucked in. He's wearing
No wife beater.
no.
All right, so okay, so we've got everybody dressed the way they want to be dressed. Trying to put on a good face. Let's see. So blah blah blah. Goal is friendship. All right. So Cherry's preparing some gifts,
Yep.
and then the goal, the written goal for Cherry out of character is to find out what happened at the colony and why, and then try to figure out how to avoid having the same thing happen again in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think that's about it. So anybody have any other input, or does that seem sufficient to everyone?
No, that all looks good to me.
Oh yeah. Oh, I guess how set was Cherry on limiting the guns that Bo takes?
She just wanted them less visible.
Well, what did he take out last time? I say from his actual bow, he might have stuff that's mostly. I think it's just his pistol, so it's probably not visible stuff.
I was gonna say he's got the ability to conceal at least a pistol, and he could. I mean, even wearing the other one less concealed, he could still, I guess, potentially wear something over his outfit. I don't know if he's got a big overcoat or something.
It's poncho time.
This is jungle trekking, but that's up to Bo. All right, so Bo is ruminating over his gun collection, trying to decide what to bring and how to bring it. Apple is munching on some flooring. Saying a little a steady as she grinds down her teeth.
Is it flooring that Eva intended to be munched, or did she find something else to munch?
That's a
Because
good
Eva is
question.
trying to give her things to munch that are in her pen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I mean, this is just, she's just like grinding her teeth on the floor, like ignoring the, basically the chew thing, the chewing post or whatever it is that Eva might have put in her pen for her.
Eva stands there and stares her thinking. Stares at her thinking.
What am I gonna do with you? She stares back, still gnawing, completely unfazed. Anime music starts playing in the background. Nani?
What's happening?
No, I'm teasing. I
Today
don't
I
know why
learned
that was.
Ben watches more anime than I do.
I don't think that surprises anyone, actually.
I
Well,
have been. been recently watching some One Piece.
Well, I don't watch any anime, so it doesn't surprise me.
That's what I was.
Oh, okay.
Anything is greater than 0.
Yeah.
I definitely watch the most anime. Dibs.
Yeah. Dibs. That does seem likely.
Huh. Why does Eva not have a TL4 backpack? Gotta fix that.
Gonna go on a little shopping spree next time.
Imagine not having a TL4 backpack. Couldn't be me.
Right? Who would do that? She must have just forgotten about it.
Yeah. For some reason, that seems like the sort of thing that could, to a very practically minded person, could seem like could seem like one of those like TV ads for ShamWow kind of stuff. Like, yeah, sure, they say, oh, it's light as a feather and has more pockets than you could stick a shake at, but nah, like, there's no way it's actually that much better. I don't buy it. I don't know if that would be her inclination towards those kind of things, but she tends towards her own solutions to things.
Yeah, she does.
Okay. Anything else you guys need to sort out or decide on before you head out on this little diplomatic mission?
Yeah, so Cherry is going to bring her little carved melon tied up in some sort of container. And then she had also grabbed 2 other packages. And she had asked if anyone else had anything they had wanted to give as a gift.
Well, Eva's bringing more spare parts.
Oh, I got some gifts I'll give them, but they're more of a plan B.
Is the melon what we saw in the vision, or
Yes, I believe that was in the vision.
Mm-hmm.
was there anything else in the vision that we saw?
In terms of gifts, yeah, there were some spare parts from Eva and maybe some a handful of like spare tools that she felt like she could part with. Just simple stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like a TL4 toolkit sort of level, but just um, I was intending that to represent maybe her attempt to think of, okay, what could be useful to some seemingly very primitive natives, not knowing what their level of technology would be.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe having visions of uplifting. I don't know how. I'm not sure how she would think about a native, kind of a primitive culture in relation to her knowledge and her joy of sharing her knowledge.
Oh my goodness. A people who need the benefit of her knowledge? Her specifically? Yes, please. Sorry, guys. We're no longer playing this campaign with Eva. Now I'll roll up a new character.
Whoops, sorry guys, you activated my trap card. I've stolen one of your player characters.
Little did we know that Ben has been running us through a temple of elemental evil the entire time. Just reflavored all the traps.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Temple of Elemental Evil, or whichever one is the player killer, the party killer.
Oh, the Tomb of Annihilation.
Is that what it's called? I guess that fits.
Yes. Yeah. That's the most infamous one. I'm sure the Temple of Elemental Evil is probably another one.
Yeah. Basically any of the old D&D modules.
Mm-hmm. Like, ooh, deep, dark, evil labyrinth where there's something amazing being protected. Yeah, get ready to die a lot.
Yeah. Alright, sounds
Yeah,
like we're ready then.
I think so. Yeah, I don't know if I think maybe there was also some. I, I was realizing I hadn't quite finished the answer. I think
Oh, sorry.
Cherry maybe had some jewelry that she didn't really like anymore.
Hmm.
That
What?
she had added to the gift pool.
Did I say that?
No, I'm saying um Avery was asking what other kinds of gifts had been seen in the vision. So I was expanding upon that a little bit. That seems like the sort of thing Cherry would have.
Sure.
Um,
Jewelry that's gone out of style?
oh, true. Yeah, out of style. That's actually. Yeah, I don't know what if that might be more Cherry's speed. If it would be more likely that she'd have stuff that has fallen out of fashion more than stuff that she doesn't like anymore. I don't know.
What would be the equivalent of like pennies?
Hmm.
Coins.
Yeah, I mean, it is it is common to take, I guess there's kind of a generic bucket called trade goods, um, or something. It's something along those lines, or maybe trade metals, something like that for in the book for, oh yeah, gold and silver and these things that are in the space era. It's actually pretty common and not really that valuable anymore, but to primitive cultures is much more.
Zeke's bringing loose change.
So Cherry had been working on bringing, like, because of the vision that she'd had with Zeke, um, she'd been planning on bringing several, like, silken kimonos that she had from
Mm,
her planet, since they seem to be really into like nice fabrics and things like that.
okay. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
And then she had had just some of her fruits that she had um, that she had also packaged that were not carved, just fruits that she had brought from her planet.
Okay.
Um, I
And
don't I don't really know about jewelry because I haven't really planned on Cherry being like a big, like, use something and throw it away kind of person. I hadn't really reflected on that. So
okay.
unless
Yeah,
that,
Julie. No, that doesn't have to be part of it. I was just improvising a little bit.
yeah, I just wasn't, it just didn't quite feel like what I had pictured for Cherry.
Yeah, there's always room for ambiguity or slight changes in the visions. They're not always 100% accurate. There are going to be little details that can change for various reasons. So no problem with that. Let's see. All right, then you guys have a selection of gifts, and you have your destination in mind, or at least the direction once you get to the colony. So, any final preparations before you scoot out?
None here. I've got my inventory set up.
Very nice, very nice. All right, let's do it. I assume you guys are going to teleport back to the colony to start out from there.
Um, if Zeke doesn't think that that's a waste of his effort, then yeah.
I guess that
What is the
does.
walking distance? Or like time?
1 hour.
Well, let me bring it back a second because I'm realizing I don't know if we particularly clarified the timetable here because you guys had gotten back towards the end of the day from activities and stuff. We may have glossed over this, but I'm assuming that you guys have taken a night's rest and gotten up in the morning to maybe you did some preparations in the night or the previous evening or something.
Sure.
But
Oh,
yeah,
you
you
said
guys.
the last session that we rested, but
Yeah, so those of you who took some hits, you get your level and hit points back, so don't forget to do that. Um, and then I think we'll be good to go. So yeah, Zeke should have a clean slate as far as effort goes because he did his precognition the night before and hasn't done anything to exert himself in the new day.
yeah. So how long would it take for us to just walk to?
I think we established about an hour.
That's what I remember.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like not knowing what's ahead of us, you would probably recommend a walk.
Okay.
I think Bo would have shared the presence of velociraptors if that changes anyone's calculus.
Zeke would remind him that he can just teleport them if that becomes evidently a problem. You just can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Makes sense.
Yeah. All right, so walking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, you guys are all geared up, got your Atmo filters on, and you can set out from the ship on your way to the colony. And let's see. So everyone give me either a survive skill check or a sneak skill check. Survive with wisdom probably, and sneak with dexterity. So
Okay.
dealer's choice, or I guess player's choice.
Yeah.
Those players.
Yeah.
What was it you wanted us to do? What or what?
Either sneak or survive.
Sneak with what and survive with what? Was the second?
Sneak dex, survive wisdom.
Oh, well, I'm screwed either way. So
Yep.
would maybe let me ask this: can we help each other on things like this?
No.
Okay.
Some of my points roll over to Zeke.
Wait, what?
Can't do worse than me.
Barry would be trying to remember the last time she had walked this path, trying very hard not to. find find herself in any more traps.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm guessing. Do we not have Robert back yet?
Nah.
Okay, then let me see. He, yeah, does not have a great situation either. So I think his best bet is going to be a sneak with Dex, since he has a +1. So I'm going to go ahead and just make that choice for him. All right. Let's see here then.
Can I curse Dex's luck to see if he rolls worse than me? Just,
Oh,
just
goodness.
we're not that competitive.
No.
Totally not.
He's like, all right, when the Raptors show up, I need somebody to be slower than me.
Right?
All right. Hmm.
When they do show up, Zeke is going to be even more convinced that Bo is some sort of like latent psionic.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna say, so collectively that is a failure. We have at least one person with the opportunity for a reroll, although Cherry did roll pretty high. Did we? I'm trying to remember. Do we have another full expert? I guess Eva, right?
No, she's an expert warrior. No,
Don't gaslight
she's
me.
a full expert.
Okay, I was thinking so. So she's a pretty solid candidate for a reroll.
So,
then Zeke also has the option for a psychic reroll.
could I make an argument for her using intelligence instead of wisdom on this? That being that she did take a lot of she did visit somebody for information on the planet as much as she could, and did take a lot of notes both there and on her time here.
That is true. If it were more of an academic
Well, I understand it's not an
situation,
actual academic situation, but just trying to appeal for that intelligence being her study of it, given her the advantage of her intelligence.
hmm,
It is totally okay to say no. I do not know what the context of the role is. I'm just throwing things
yeah,
at the wall.
yeah. No, I was gonna say no harm in trying. I think I'm gonna stick to my guns in this case, because I'm interpreting this as
There's a 6.
you know,
Fire their guns. This is a peace mission.
you should know better
Anymore,
than
it's
that when it
not.
comes. This, who do you think your GM is? That you're gonna get a peace mission with no danger. No, let's see. So, all right, so that makes it a 7 for Eva. Which, let's see. Yeah, I guess if I might as well. I got a round, so yeah, that gets you rounding up, which gets you guys a success
Oh,
for
okay.
me. So, yeah, with Bo rolling a 14, that certainly it it softened the impact of all your
Carried some
very
weight.
bad rolls. Yeah, did. So I feel like this might be represented by Bo, moving back and forth between the front of the group and the back of the group. uh, Giving people little reminders about how to move more quietly through vegetation, and also steering the group clear of some critter sign that indicates the presence of stuff that you don't want to run into. But yeah, you guys managed to make your trip toward the colony without running afoul of anything that wants to bother you. You see your fair share of wildlife going about its business in the jungle, but um, only once do you catch sight of something that looks predatorial, and it is not occupied with you at the moment, off chasing something else. So you can get to the colony and to your to the little campsite that Zeke and Cherry had found on kind of the other side of the colony without any major incident.
Okay.
And then I don't know if you guys had any specific ideas in mind about how you wanted, if you had any other descriptions for how you want to go about taking this path. I'm assuming extra vigilance, considering the trap that you guys came across.
Nah.
Any notes about your demeanor or marching order or anything like that that you guys feel like is important information?
I guess Bo's keeping a weary eye out for velociraptors.
All right.
I think Eva is just looking for things to tell Cherry to get on her camera. Until Cherry tells her to knock it off, of course.
Yeah.
I don't know if Cherry.
I was gonna say, does that seem like something Cherry would do, or is she chill
Tell
with
her
that?
to knock it off.
You got a little garbled there. I didn't quite hear what you said.
Not sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, fair enough. Okay, so you guys go ahead and set off at a bit of a slower pace now, keeping your eyes peeled. And everyone, go ahead and give me notice checks with wisdom, but have a modifier of 1 on those checks, if you would.
Oh wow, that's really good for Eva.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my pulling a 7 out of a native -2 is
Did you say
solid.
no? Okay.
Yeah, notice wisdom with a modifier of 1.
Oh, I
Okay,
didn't.
so that
Well,
so that makes it a 6. Okay. So looks like
Oh,
yeah,
even Robert.
yeah. I need to, because I think we gotta, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, get his and do this. Yeah, I was gonna say I I had a feeling that was gonna go. So very nice. So as the group of you set out, a slower pace and keeping your eyes peeled, each of you looking at a kind of a different quadrant as you slowly pick your way through the jungle, um, you are able to spot several more traps, especially given what Cherry and Zeke had run into, and having been able to study a little bit about how the trap was laid. You have a little more idea of the kinds of signs to look for, so you managed to avoid some tripwires and including some including some other traps that seem like they're actually designed more to capture than to injure. And Bo even notices a couple smaller traps that look like they're like snares for catching small game. But you find these things in the course of say close to another hour's worth of hiking in this direction, keeping your eyes out for any sort of excuse me, any sort of trouble.
They really don't want anybody here, do they?
I mean, there might be a really valid reason for that.
There might be. I hope they let us talk to them and find out.
Reason might be that they're a bunch of jerks and they suck.
Bo, not everybody's you.
She's. Well, let's just hope not.
So,
I bet they'd be cool if it was a bunch of aliens like me.
You see Cherry like visibly shudder.
Eva just quickly looks over at Zeke, changes the subject. It's okay. We're safe. Thank you, Zeke.
Yeah, so you guys have been, you made it through the first hour of hiking from the ship to the colony, and with just needing one reroll, and then you guys have been keeping your eyes peeled for traps on the way from the colony towards just the direction of the native settlement that you expected to be in this direction. And so yeah, you guys have seen and managed to avoid several various traps, and around an hour into it, you hear some commotion up ahead, and something making a bunch of noise in the brush, and you also hear a what sounds pretty clearly like some kind of angry animal cry.
Uh-oh. Cherry looks mildly alarmed.
I always love that GIF.
Yep.
And so it sounds like something has gotten caught in a trap. It's the way you're describing it.
Yay, my description was good. Yes, that's what it seems like. Something seems like it's thrashing in the brush. You can't clearly make out what it is, but it's angry. It sounds reptilian and very unhappy, but it's not going anywhere.
Okay. They'll come by to get that, right? We could wait here and say hi.
Was the trap reset from last episode?
It's an excellent question.
We've noticed that.
Yeah, you could have checked that. I'm fine with saying, retconning and saying that you did check that.
I mean, surely we would have thought to check for it.
Yeah, it's fair to say that Zeke would have made a point to say, "Hey, let's check that." It had not been reset. you went and saw the branch still hanging from where it had lost all its momentum, and the tripwire still sprung.
So Zeke's going to probably just share that context and imply that they may not be back for a while.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's for the better anyways. It's making a lot of noise.
Should we be worried that that might attract?
Yes, yes, we should. We should keep moving then. Right, Bo?
Yeah, probably good. Sweet. I don't know. I kind of want to see what the old critter is.
Oh no. Very What is pregnant?
We can at least put it out of its misery. We don't need to leave it hanging.
Oh, you had to say hanging.
Can we do it quietly?
Should be able to. I got some arrows.
I think that's humane. Probably terrified.
Okay, yeah, so Bo will take out his bow and I guess try to sneak forward and see what the critter is.
Alrighty. Then yeah, he can go and get a better angle on it, and yeah, let's see what he finds is it it's a it's kind of it's a two-legged reptilian critter, another dino it's got kind of a frill running down much of its back, and a bit of a longer neck and a long kind of crocodilian maw that's snapping at uh, a a couple of stakes that have looked like they had sprung up from the kind of the loose earth below and have uh, impaled it in fairly severely, and it seems like it's trying to just get at whatever has injured it. And you also spot a small, furry but bloodied lump that is laying near where the dino's head is trapped.
Oof.
And the dino is it's about your size, maybe slightly larger if you take in some length of body.
Mm. Okay. I think Bo will. I guess after taking that in, he will. I'll stay in a little ways away, getting his shot lined up. He'll talk to the critter.
Okay. If he starts talking to it,
Say,
it'll. Mhm.
say, after I got to one of them libraries on Anagris, I read a book about something kind of like this. There's some old preacher lady. Made a kid put his hand in some old box. Said that was the difference between a man and an animal. That an animal do what you're doing right now. Get all ornery. Maybe even chew off your own leg to get out of there. Give you enough time. Get you desperate enough. That's how you know you ain't human. Because a human, wait, sit all nice and quiet till the fellas came back.
Cherry is rapidly losing interest in this conversation.
It's like, why is Bo monologuing to this dinosaur?
Oh, I thought he was away from it, buddy.
I mean, he's
Yeah, I guess
yeah, I
not
guess
super far away.
yeah, maybe he's a little closer than he realized. But, yeah, not super far.
Didn't want to show us his sensitive side yet?
Yeah.
Definitely not his philosophical side.
And I guess from there I'll say, gotta admit, didn't read much more of that book. Didn't tell me anything I didn't already know. And
Yeah,
then
it
I'll
has-
fire.
Okay, yeah. As you'd started talking to it, it had turned and kind of gotten still and was staring at you, and its frills kind of just slowly vibrating, and it had gotten quieter, but was making some sort of kind of low, keening growl kind of sound. But you can take the shot. I guess execution shot is fair. So go ahead and give me just a skill check for shoot with your 3d6. Or is it? Unless did you go? Couldn't remember if you went for the 46.
No, just the sniper gets it to 3d6.
Okay, got you. Alrighty. So yeah, the arrow strikes it right in a vital spot, and it jerks and lies still. The death rattle.
Sorry, little fella. Maybe be born a person next time.
Harsh.
Better luck next time. Oh man. Okay. So yeah, the noise has stopped, and you guys are, I guess, wanting to continue on.
Poor guy. Well, let's go.
Yeah, I figure he's happier without leading out there. And I guess we don't want to take these fellas' snack as if we come at peace.
What? No, we're not dragging a dino through the... I can't believe he did that.
Yeah, did Bo tell anybody about the details of his adventure?
Yeah, I guess he shared all of that.
He doesn't necessarily need to have shared much. I mean, Eva saw him dragging the corpse in. She made an assumption that he dragged it all the way.
Yeah, no, I guess I didn't mean about that. I was thinking about depending on how many details he shared, that might have
True.
That might have influenced how some of the crew, perceived the action of dragging a dinosaur body through the forest, through the jungle.
Yeah.
with the whole having to evade and distract various predators and scavengers that wanted to get in on his hunt.
I figured, of course, he'd tell it with relishing detail because he had so much fun doing it.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, all the details of carving the thing up and taking some bits to distract the little velociraptors and compies and whatnot. All right, so you guys can scoot on along, and I think we're gonna have
You're scooting, then what?
yeah. So you guys are scooting, and then there is a sudden faint whistling through the air and the thunk of uh, a spear into the trunk of a tree next to Bo.
Oh shoot.
It's far enough away that it seems likely it was not intended to hit him, but it definitely would have hurt if it did.
I think Bo will draw and turn in the direction of the spear.
Pete will probably gesture him to lower his weapon. Say that was just a warning.
And as
Might
you
have
all
objected to you shooting the dino.
I started saying something, but I didn't want to interrupt the response for Bo or the chance for Bo to respond.
Oh yeah, maybe I object to them shooting at me.
Yeah, you did shoot first. Maybe we'll just see what they say.
Well, if you as you wait a few moments and scan the jungle around you, nothing else happens for at least about a minute or so.
I don't know if Eva waits a minute.
All right, what's Eva gonna do?
Unless somebody else does something before her, she'll, if.
Yeah. Can Pete check for a trap before she moves?
Oh, she's not going to move anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess shooting or not, Bo's still scanning the surrounding area.
Yeah, I'm still giving you guys credit for your success on looking for traps.
Okay. She just kind of builds herself up for a moment. Clear she's going to say something. And then, we just want to talk. If there's anybody out there, if you talk to us here, then we won't come any closer.
After a few moments, you hear a voice from a thick bit of brush, roughly in the direction that the spear had come from, that says, "Your kind not welcome here."
We're not the same as the other people that were here, the other of our kind. We brought gifts.
Lies.
No, it's
I see you, humans.
the
What
cherry
did they
couldn't.
say?
He said, "I see you, humans."
Cherry would kind of put a hand on Eva's shoulder and sort of step forward and
Uh,
just about
Okay.
half a step, and kind of bowing similarly to how she had with her father back on her planet. She would, um, raise her voice just a little bit and say, "We share a species with those people, but no common planet, no common custom. We come as our own, and we would like to share gifts with you and knowledge of what may have been done wrong to you so that we will not repeat the same error."
There's a moment of silence, and then a response. You ignored our warnings.
I apologize. This may simply be that we had not taken them for warnings to us. We had met other humans on the planet or other creatures on the planet, and we weren't sure what was placed by whom or for what purpose.
There's a low laugh, and I thought warning is a warning.
As I said, there are many things we seek to understand.
A voice comes from a different direction and says, "Wait here. We will confer and discuss." And
Cherry
there's
Cherry nods, but looks back to check on the group.
yeah, you notice a little bit of rustling and some quick movement back deeper in the brush. You, you notice one figure just briefly before they run back out of between some trees and out of your sight, and their their skin looked like it was the same color as the trees around you, and with some of the coloration of the leaves as well, like they were camouflaged.
When Cherry looks
And they
back,
yeah,
Eva
go ahead.
kind of just gives her a little smile, and then after a moment, they sound very intelligent.
Well, of course they are.
Confer and discuss in our language?
Cherry pauses for a moment and looks at her. Did you think they would be speaking as though they didn't understand our language?
No, we knew they spoke Mandate from the others we met, but
Then did you expect that they would be less intelligent than you?
um, well, they're using primitive rope traps and pits and logs.
So would we if we didn't have an industrial society.
Until I built one, maybe.
Think you
If you
pre-
wanted one.
I think you presume much of what was given to you and what you could make.
I don't know. She can make a lot.
Now
But maybe not a whole industrial society on her own.
I mean, I would obviously not be able to build all of it. I would have to found it and designing all of the. Anyways, now I really want to see what kind of technology and knowledge base they're working with.
Hmm. Bo scanning the tree lines for other, and he's saying, "What I assume is that they're peoples, and peoples basically suck. So
Mm,
don't keep your head on a swivel."
n-
Just
I
Go ahead.
because
Good.
I was gonna say, go ahead and give me another notice check from Bo.
Bo says, I'm not racist. I think everyone sucks equally.
Eva
Yeah,
says,
so
I don't. Cherry doesn't. Pete doesn't. Zeke doesn't either. None of us suck.
Do you notice someone she left out of that list? Wow.
Well, that's 4 people versus the whole human race. That's time immemorial. I'm sure Eva could tell you what percentage that makes.
It's very low. There's so many zeros.
Not helping.
Yeah.
After just a handful of minutes of being left to stew, Bo is scanning the tree line and hasn't found any more of the natives. And even looking very closely at the spot where the first voice had been coming from, has not been able to figure out. He's got a couple suspicions about, maybe could that be a leg? I don't know, but can't clearly make out anything. And then the second voice you'd heard that had used such eloquent language calls out from further back in the jungle, something that you do not understand, in a very different language, rattles it off quickly, and then your first voice pipe says, Chief says you follow.
Cherry bows again and goes ahead, assuming the rest of the crew is going to follow.
Oh heck yeah.
And so as you approach there, the figure steps away from a tree, and in a in a very disorienting, almost optical illusion kind of manner, seems to just come out of the wood. One moment, no indication there's a person there at all, and then suddenly their coloration perfectly had matched the tree. Step away, and it's looks male and a bit taller than most of you, about on Pete's level, and with very pronounced ridges along the shoulders and arms, and kind of crests that seem to be beneath the skin of his face and head, and has a short beard that he he pulls on for a moment as he looks you all over, and says, "You follow, but no weapons." And he is holding another spear, and you notice he's got some kind of contraption attached to the spear that I'm not sure that any of you would specifically recognize, but it looks like it's got a handle, and it's would certainly explain how it made it so far so fast.
Ah, an addle.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you're leaving your weapon here, big boy.
Oh, we're guests.
Yes, I'm big and boy, but no, I keep mine. and he kind of
Cherry
just
would
rattles it.
Cherry would take out her pistol and put it on the ground and then stand back up.
Oh, no, and he reaches down and pushes a couple plants aside, and pulls at part of the ground, and a lid comes up, and there's a large little wooden box basically embedded in the ground there for human stuff, and he points in there.
Is there any human stuff already in there?
No, it's
Thank you. Eva will cautiously approach, sidling around him so that she's not getting too close, and also very cautiously pull her pistol out and put it in.
Yeah, whenever you guys move or reach for weapons, he watches them very closely, but he doesn't seem necessarily jumpy. Just very cautious and very observant of what you're doing with your weapons.
Okay. Does he or someone else call Eva out on the small knife that she's carrying? It would be stowed, so not like readily accessible, but it's also not front and center of her mind. She's not thinking about it.
No, I don't think unless it's you prominently, like where she can reach at it. I don't know that he would necessarily even notice it.
This is not the airport metal detector.
Nah, yeah, he's not, and he's not patting you down or anything. Seems like more of a what am I trying to say?
Trusting you
Seems
to
like
do it.
yeah, he's going on the honor system for this.
Yeah.
No matter how many weapons Bo might be thinking of, Cherry is going to look at him as if expecting more.
He will set his rifle and sword in the box, and I guess ask, like, just gesture at the knife on his hip, say, is a knife a tool or a weapon to you? It's just a basic thermo knife.
Yeah, he looks at it and seems slightly confused by the question. That is weapon, yes.
It will say, a rock can be a weapon. A knife
Cherry,
can be a tool. A rock can be a tool.
He gets he gets a look
Why
on
would
his
I
face.
use a knife when there's a sword?
He looks over it. I guess who was the first one to put something in the box?
Eva, think. Unless Cherry did before her.
Yeah. So he would look at
their way.
he would glance at Eva and, like, looking at her, just point at Pete's thermal knife and say, weapon?
That
And then he'd say it again a little slower, like, weapon?
I
He,
it wouldn't be for me. Oh, I have one of those too. Not the same thing, but I guess I should take mine off too.
His eyes start to glaze over a little bit as she starts picking up her pace and rambling for a moment.
Cherry would let out kind of an exasperated sound, and then she would look at Pete and say, Pete, if you were assessing other people for risks, would you consider that a possible weapon?
He will just roll his eyes, take it off, and throw it in the box.
Eva fishes her knife out and puts it in the box too. Hers is a mono blade, not the thermal blade, but still.
Okay. Yeah. See. Yeah. The guy nods slowly, looking still slightly confused, but like, okay, that's what I was thinking.
I don't think it's a weapon, but I don't. She
Look
looks over at
at
Cherry.
sharply.
What's that?
I said, Cherry will look at Eva very sharply.
Yeah, right as Eva's looking over at her for guidance, and Eva just stops. Bow, all of them.
Bo will. I think we'll keeping a close eye on this fella. Take off his bow and sniper rifle. But I guess at least not immediately volunteer his concealed mag pistol.
All right. Yeah, he'll watch the bow and the rifle go in with interest, and then uh, glancing at all of you, and assuming you've put up in all of your visible weapons, then he'll nod and fit the thing back down and say, thanks. Now we go to Chief. And he'll lead the way. And he's going to lead you into the brush where it seems like it starts growing a bit thicker and more more vines along the trees. The trees also growing closer together until you get to a point where it stops you and then reaches into a bag that he's got slung over his shoulder and rummages for something and pulls out some kind of little fruit and he mimes with it and says um, smell bad and uh, like mimes like wiping it on your face and or on your arms and hands it back, then pauses it, goes off to the side and plucks another one off a little vine nearby. Um, smell bad for plants. Humans smell good.
Uh, oh, oh, oh! Is this the? And she'll uh, say like a fruit that her professor had said was good at warding off that she hadn't been able to identify yet. And of course, he probably didn't know the name that the professor gave it. So is this
Yeah,
the blah 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 fruit?
he he looks at her blankly.
Oh, okay. She cautiously reaches out a hand for him to give it to her. She's not gonna try and take it from him. She reaches
Yeah,
out, palm up.
yeah, he hands it, and yeah, the vegetation is a lot denser moving forward, and as she takes it and realizing so she's piecing some things together um, from what she'd been told, which uh, Yeah, maybe that was some little
Maybe.
tidbit that had been in the back of her mind, but
Also say maybe
yeah,
indirectly.
yeah. Um, so she's so she can. I guess is she gonna go ahead and do what he was miming? Basically squeeze some of the fruit out and the flesh out and smear it on herself.
Yep. Trying not to look in Cherry's direction as she does so.
Yeah, say you can always do backs of hands or whatever. If you want to avoid, you don't have to get it on all over your clothes or anything. He doesn't like mime covering yourselves in it. It just seems like he wants you to get a little bit on yourselves.
Okay. Okay.
Cherry will attempt to make her markings as similar to his as possible.
Oh, neat. um, so yeah, assuming you all go along with that, then he'll motion and he'll mutter under his breath, Arena's better at this. Um,
Who is better at it?
Arena.
Okay.
And he glances up at Eva as he mutters it, clearly intending for her to overhear that.
Eva
But
will, when they start moving, Eva will fall back a little bit to say to Cherry quietly, I think they understand you better. You should keep doing the talking.
Cherry would look at her for a second, a little surprised, I guess, and then she goes, "Oh, I mean, I did think that was what you wanted me to do."
Of course, I mean, you are so good at it, but yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's just the sound. Maybe if I tried speaking like in a higher pitched voice.
What?
so
Nothing.
He looks
so
like a little off put by that. Like, what are you saying about my voice?
so out of character, what did Eva hear?
Irina better at this, and Eva thinks that
Okay.
what she's been putting together, what she thinks she's putting together, is that he was having trouble understanding. Hang on, understanding her, but he didn't seem to have any trouble understanding Cherry, and so Eva is
Okay, yeah, I
trying
got
to
you.
justify that it's because Cherry has a slightly higher pitched voice.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, I just wanted to double check that I hadn't misspoken or been said something not clearly. So that's cool. I love that.
quick, quick question. After she says that, Cherry would want to look around at the rest of the crew and see if anybody needed help with doing this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's fairly simple. It doesn't sound like anybody's looking for help, but good looking out from Cherry.
Yeah, I guess Bo would look a little offended, like, what? This ain't any worse than deer pee.
Yeah, and actually, I
He-
guess as you guys do this, it doesn't smell bad. I mean, it smells fruity. Um, but then you guys can follow along, and as you start pushing deeper into this denser vegetation, um, you notice that he pushes through some of these and kind of actually like has to push some vines aside. They move a little bit more than they should on their own, just under the force of his movements, and couple and in a couple places, some greenery, kind of opens up, sort of like to blossom, and has, some, some kind of strands of sticky stuff that, stick the leaves together for a moment before they open wide, and start to get the sense that some of these plants have got a mind of their own. But he seems unbothered, just pushing them aside, avoiding touching certain parts. But you all are able to make your way through without any trouble. And well, he does at one point he has to put a little more effort to shove a large bulbous bit of plant out of the way, and it shifts, and you notice a little bit of you notice a little clawed foot sticking out of the bottom of this large bulb of
Oh boy.
plant matter.
That's fun.
So, but you get through this denser bit, and then suddenly stop and turns around, and then gestures down, and then presses a hand down into the soil a little bit and squeezes, and a large opening kind of it opens up similar to some of these. See, those are like plant blooms, and some dirt falling off of it, but there's a large opening in the center of what looks like this kind of plant, and but it's clearly been cut partly away, and the plant has been modified for this purpose of disguising a little trap door down into just a faintly musty underground cavern. And as he starts to lead the way down, you catch a bit of movement in some of the dense brush nearby, and you see a couple of other of the natives looking on. It not quite as camouflaged, but some of them still bearing similar coloring to some of the vegetation around, though not all of them. They have a good bit of variety among them in their coloration. But anywho, yeah, you guys can follow on down. I assume no protests. All right. Then yeah, he leads you down, and it's a kind of a rough-hewn stairway, down into this small cavern that is dimly lit, and you, I guess, Zeke recognizes this as what was in his precognitive vision, the chamber with even coming into view, recognize guards that are posted up, very similar to how they were in his vision. Only difference being that none of your group is sporting any bandages. You notice one of the natives who had been bandaged in your vision is also bandaged now. But you're led to the middle of the room where there's the familiar individual from your vision that you had been talking with, who's seated on the floor, cross-legged, and looking at you expectantly. They exchange some conversation in their own language, and then the man who brought you in, he bows to the man seated and heads back up the stairway. And the one seated says, in a in a clear voice, "Welcome, humans. You've shown yourselves well, listening to instruction and not making trouble so far.
Mm.
If that continues, then we may have peaceful discourse.
So
I'm
Cherry
told that you."
notices. Oh, sorry. I thought
Oh,
you were done.
oh, you just say, "I'm told that you are not of the colony."
So I would say that Cherry and Pete probably both recognize that Eva is very likely to launch into some kind of rebuttal of course we can follow instructions and profess how smart she is. Does anyone want to nip that in the bud?
I think Pete just looks at Cherry.
Cherry would step forward and say, "That is correct. We are not of the colony.
Little grunts from Eva.
We are hoping to be on good terms with you and anyone else who may live on this planet. But seeing the colony as it is, we don't know what happened for it to, well, we want to make sure that we can avoid any misunderstandings. And we wanted to make sure things started off on the right foot. And as such, we wanted to come and bring you gifts and show our good intentions.
So he looks a little bit surprised by that last bit. So you ignore our warnings and come seeking us out to bring gifts.
Cherry will slightly cock her head, though she's still bowed somewhat. And she'll say, um, "Your man said something similar when we met him. Um, we apologize for not knowing more clearly what you had intended as warnings for all. We were not sure if some were simply meant for hunting, if some were meant for others that were not us, if some were set by people other than you.
Mm.
We are adventurers, and it is second nature to us to step lightly and do what we can to stay from stepping in a trap. Not every trap we come across has been set for us. So we apologize if this was, well, overstepping."
He smiles at your pun. Um,
Yes, I got pun points.
and he says, "Yes. Well, you have overstepped, but I can be gracious. the warnings are not flawless. Please sit and let's discuss. I suppose that the tragedy of the colony means that we must start from the beginning again with whichever humans will follow.
Jerry will give another bow and say thank you for the invitation to sit. And we are happy to begin new relations and hopefully better than what you have experienced. I'm sorry for the tragedy having affected your peoples as well. And though I would like to speak more on that, I would start with introductions, as is common with my own people, if you don't mind.
Yes, introductions would be appreciated, but he looks a little confused. What is this tragedy affecting my people you seem to know of?
She kind of blinks a couple times. I simply meant the, well, the state that
Ah,
we found the colony in.
I
It,
see.
if your people were there, it surely must not have ended well for anyone there.
Ah, I see. No, my people have stayed far from, well, had stayed far from the colony. We had an arrangement with those who lived there, and they they stayed in their place, and we allowed them to continue taking that portion of the forest. But no, the tragedy has not affected my people other than in the inconvenience of needing to reform an understanding with the humans. You know, others come from time to time, but rarely venture far from their whatever points of interest they have found. They do not find us. Most do not seek us, and those that do, well, rarely do so again. But he gestures again for y'all to sit, and says, "Please allow me to begin with introduction. I am Flintock, and these are my people."
How many people are in the room aside from us?
So there are a pair of apparent guards over, kind of flanking the entrance that you guys came down, and there are three others who are um, sitting over on the other end of the chamber, and they've got their heads close together, talking quietly, and don't aren't really paying you any mind at the moment.
Okay. Well, Eva will sit.
And I don't know if you guys want to necessarily go through introductions in character. That's fine if you do, but I'm fine handling that out of character.
Well, there is the slight matter of how to properly spell Eva's name.
Oh,
I was gonna say that's a given. That's always present in her introductions.
I have a feeling she's not getting to introduce herself.
Cherry will be introducing her for her.
Is that what's happening here, Danielle?
That would definitely be what would be happening. She would be introducing the crew because she does not trust basically hardly any of them as far as she can throw them.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like Eva doesn't get to talk. Yeah, Bo doesn't get to talk. Zeke will try to crack a joke. Pete will quibble about the definition of a weapon. All right, so yeah, you can Cherry can make all the introductions, and the chief acknowledges all of those, and then looks at Cherry and asks, "So you've expressed a desire for an understanding between us, and to have good relations. What does this mean to you?"
Where I come from, good relations means a sense of being neighbors with one another. And that means respect for one another, looking out for one another, and blessing one another when possible.
I see.
I come with some of the things we bless one another with on my planet. And I hope they are to your liking. And she'll pull out from her the bag on her back. She'll pull that around to in front of her, and she'll pull out a small box that probably looks about 18 by 18 by 18 inches, and she'll open that to show that there's fruits inside, like figs and things like that. And then she'll pull out several bundles of what look to be silk kimonos similar to what she's wearing, though in cleaner condition than the hem of hers at this moment. And then she will pull out something that appears to be wrapped in several layers of something else. And as she's unwrapping it, the smell of melon begins to permeate the room. And when she finishes unwrapping it, the crew would see that it's a melon very similarly carved to the one that Apple was given, though this one has quite a bit more detail to it.
Yeah, he watches each gift come out with interest. And is she handing them over to him, or is she kind of laying them out in front?
She had laid them out in front of herself, but the melon that had been carved, she does offer up for him to take.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
And
he
she,
had been just kind of looking closely, and even reached out to touch the kimonos. And so
now,
she hands him the melon.
yeah. So my question would be: in Zeke's vision, we saw people's wearing various different vibrant fabrics and woven things like that. Are
Mhm.
do these people appear to be wearing any vibrant fabrics or woven things like what she saw in the vision with Zeke?
Yeah, so
The,
that's a good
yeah.
good question, because I didn't really describe that. Yeah, so the one that had led you in, and some of the others that you saw out in the jungle above, were wearing very simple and drab colors that blended in. The guy that had led you in, he was wearing very little at all, mostly just in his camouflaged skin. But the chieftain here is wearing the vibrantly colored robe that you had seen in your vision, as well as the ones who are conferring off to the side. In your vision, one of them had been standing closer by, kind of behind the chieftain and listening into the conversation. But the guards they're wearing, still not drab brown, but not nearly as vibrant of clothing as the chief is wearing.
Okay.
And
So anyway, I wanted that for my character's knowledge of looking around, if she pegged the bringing of vibrant fabrics as
mhm.
as making a good gift or not.
Yes, she had seen as much. Um, so all right, so yeah, he'll take the melon and he'll hold it up to his face and inhale deeply, and then look at the detail and say, "This is interesting. This is fruit, but also art." And he smiles at her. It presents a conundrum.
How so?
Um, he his smile broadens a bit and says, "Surely you can see the conundrum inherent in this gift of food and art in one."
Well, where I am from, mukimono is used to make things more appealing. You eat first with your eyes and then with the rest. And it helps you to appreciate what you are given and to remember that all gifts, all good things in life in general is fleeting and to be enjoyed while you have it.
Ooh.
He nods his head slowly, looking over the melon.
It's also to show that you are seen as worth time and effort.
Mm-hmm. And he says, I like this philosophy." And he holds the melon, uh, turns it a bit, and makes sure to get a good look at it from all angles. And one of the uh, trio from across the room comes over to look closer. Sniffing faintly, like they've caught whiff of the fruit, and he shows it off to them. And then he
Carrie is internally debating whether or not she should have brought more carved fruit or less. Like, okay, good idea, but did I not bring enough?
um yeah, then he suddenly lunges forward and takes a big hefty bite out of the carved fruit part of it, and then chews slowly, savoring it, and then
She is so nervous right now. Like, what are their taste buds even? Do they like it? Like, what if he thinks it's disgusting?
he didn't spit it out immediately, but no, he nods and says, "This is a rich fruit and a beautiful gift. Thank you."
She nods, looking obviously relieved,
um
and says, you're most welcome." Stuttering only a little bit, but still stuttering.
Let's see. I at this point, so I actually need a Metapsyonics Wisdom check from Zeke.
Uh-oh.
Avery, you are muted, so okay, yeah, you heard me.
Yeah.
I double check that you were here.
And there it goes.
Okay, nice. So yeah, the chieftain is he's chewing, and then he he sort of holds the melon up towards Cherry, and expressing thanks, and then sets it down next to himself. Says, "I will I'll partake more later. These gifts are rich, and I am impressed at your demeanor that you've come to me with. The colonists began with a much different approach." And he takes one of the kimonos up and holds it up in front of himself. And let's see, yeah. Zeke Zeke hears a voice in his head, as he has done before, that says, "Seer, I do not know if your companions are aware of your nature, but I would warn you to be cautious." I and he doesn't even glance at you, but it sounds like it's clearly recognizable, his same voice, but he's seems to be he avoided saying anything out loud, not knowing if you were if you were outed, basically. um and continues, saying nice things, and looking over each one of the gifts and expressing his appreciation for them.
Is it clear that he is meaning for me to be careful in regards to like my own group, or what is he implying? I guess I'm not understanding.
Got you. Um yeah, I guess he did make that kind of ambiguous. He could have meant, be careful about exposing yourself to your own group, but um he does also seem to be at least subtly asserting dominance in the fact that he contacted you unsolicited, and gave you a warning.
Mhm.
Because it could definitely also cover the, you know check yourself before you wreck yourself, uh, in my domain, kind of a thing.
Zeke does tend to heed these warnings.
And he can tell that he would be able to reply telepathically if he would choose. uh,
Mm,
while he considers his response, um, the chief does also, he takes, after he's gone over all the gifts, he says, "Now, Cherry, in the beginning of our negotiations together, should uh, I should ask about the nature of Pete, as you introduced him. Um, we have little experience with such machines, and you treat him as an equal, so I would ask what you can tell me about this.
Oh shoot.
Mm.
She
Can of worms.
yeah, she would take a deep breath and then say, among humans, there are a variety of opinions and ideas. And if you asked 50 different humans about robots, you would probably get 50 different answers. Pete is a part of our crew of his own volition, and he has dreams and goals just as I do or you do. And we respect that. He's a good crewmate, and he and my captain, Eva, here, uh, run the ship well and take care of us and treat us fairly. I believe his decisions to adventure are his own, and whether or not he continues to adventure after this will be up to him. But I don't believe he has any violent designs on anybody simply because he is a bot.
So yeah, he's nodding along and being fairly expressive. His face goes through a couple different stages um, of intrigue, concern, and confusion, as she explains. But
Eva speaks up unless Cherry puts her down.
Harry once would be really relieved that Eva is speaking up.
And says, Pete is my best friend, and he's just like us, but his skin is different.
yes,
Harry resists the urge to point out that a whole lot more than his skin is different, but for another
yeah,
time.
yeah. Say Chief Schlintock would definitely say yes. His skin is quite different.
It's a
I
metaphor. I mean,
I'm just waiting for Pete to be like, I moisturize every day.
he says, I I cannot claim to understand fully this strange subjective understanding of his nature, but I accept that he is of your crew and he is his own being.
very
That is
much.
that is no far stretch for us to make. Though it sounds as though your own species is conflicted about those different, which, as I consider it, does not surprise me,
They just need to be better informed.
as do we all.
Yes.
Got her. Uh,
Oh
she
no. Cherry's
she
like, not an invitation, not an invitation, not an invitation.
Eva feels the pull of a kindred spirit. But yeah, I think that those were a great couple of responses. Avery, do you have a response in mind for Zeke?
Yeah, Zeke would say something or telepathically back to our guy here. He's gonna say basically that his comrades are aware of his condition, and he would ask if the same is true for him.
Yeah,
How the
so
turntables.
um Yes, he would reply right away and say, "That is good to hear. Our experience with humans was that many of them were suspicious of seers, and the same is not true for my people. It says I have gained my position of honor in large part due to the respect paid to a seer uh, in our culture."
So
And
I guess that's a bit confusing. So they do not appreciate that, or
They do.
do?
no, they
They do.
do. So he said he's surprised that you are out because his experience with humans was that they have a lot of superstition and suspicion toward seers, as he puts it.
Gotcha.
Um, but he said the same is not true among his own people. He is respected for his powers.
Yeah, I guess he would elaborate that, outside of his circle, he does still tend to keep it close to chest, but that these people can be trusted.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, yeah, he expresses you know a, a measure of respect toward the crew, to Zeke, and uh, and lets him know that he is well. He then asks. He would ask Zeke then whether he thinks um, that disclosing his own power would improve the dialogue in this case, or would be too intimidating for Zeke's fellows.
Hmm. That
And
is a good question.
if you want to stew on that for a minute, I can get somebody else real quick because I have something
Just
else in mind.
just don't tell Bo these guys are robots.
uh, yeah. Speaking of robots, did Pete have anything to pipe in and say when the chief asked, and others responded on his behalf, kind of about his nature?
Um, I don't know that he really has anything else to say.
Okay. He was satisfied with the response that the others gave.
Yeah.
All right. Good job, crew.
Eva looked fondly over at Pete also as she was saying some of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, Chief Slimthog does. He accepts your answer and has expressed that he's happy to deal with Pete just like the rest of you. And as he's accepted all your gifts, um, he he seems very pleased. His expression has even softened more than it was in the beginning, and has a ready smile for you all. And he invites you to stay for a little while. It's says it's nearing their own meal time, and that you're welcome to join them if you would like. As far as he's concerned, you've made you've extended a hand towards him, and he's willing to accept friendship for now, and uh,
Neat.
would uh, would uh, be happy to be your neighbors, and as long as any other humans that followed in your footsteps, comported themselves similarly, he would be pleased to be their neighbor.
Cherry would bow and say, "Let me discuss this with my captain." But
Yes, we'll join you.
wouldn't. Oh, Cherry would laugh.
Eva is very excited.
So yeah,
Sorry if you wanted more from that, Danielle.
No, that would be that would be great. He was just trying to show deference, but the excitement will probably be a big, good thing to the chief. So
yeah. So basically, as soon as you guys, or as soon as Eva kind of accepts the invitation, um, several a door that wasn't very apparent, kind of to the side of the entrance you guys came down, opens out, and uh, several several individuals in in more of the kind of the simpler clothing come out bearing large round wooden platters piled with quite a bit of food, and they set it out. They lay them out on like little bits of stump that they place kind of around on the floor, and so you almost got like these very tiny little stands that these platters are on that are laid out with food, and the the chief says, "Please partake of our gifts and uh, make yourselves at ease." And he leans down and kind of lounges, resting on one arm next to one of these large wooden platters, and plucks something off and pops it in his mouth.
nice.
And oh man, we're already 11:28. Oh man,
Yeah.
I'm having too much fun with this. Yeah, basically, there's a quite a variety of stuff. A lot of it looks uh, like a lot of it is fresh fruits and and some vegetables. All of it uh, is raw. Like it's just raw and fresh, not been cooked. And there are also some little almost like dessert looking things that have look like they've got some little like bits of jello with some powdered stuff sprinkled on top of them. And yeah, just a lot of finger food. And you are a couple others from the side of the room. They come and join in, and it's meal time.
Sweet. What do they bring in? Is there meat? Is it dino meat?
So there is actually. Uh, thank you for mentioning that. I guess I mentioned the dessert stuff. There are some like little. It's basically sashimi.
Carrie's going to be in love instantly. She's going to be super excited.
And
He's going to start asking the chief if they have a local source of fish, or if they have to travel far for their fish, and all those things that come with
mhm.
tell me more about how you have this much sashimi. Like,
So he would start describing, and he'd describe the various fruits and vegetables, and he'd use a lot of names and terms that you guys wouldn't recognize. Um,
Taking notes in her head. She wants to know more.
yeah, I got you. Um, and yeah, he's
Dinoshimi.
Texted a little bit of ESP there. Yeah, he seems a little. He says, "Fish? No. We we." He'd say, "We do eat fish, but not many. Not many swim in the streams near our home." But no, yeah, he would describe that these are little slivers of meat from various dinos, and as well as some of the other uh, wildlife of the jungle.
Eva does have a health concern. She
Okay.
she uh seeing the raw food, and especially after he's identified that it's not fish, um that it's land-based muscular tissue. um
Mhm.
she asks if he knows whether the other humans were able to eat this.
And he gives her a concerned look. No, I do not. Well, they never reached this point in our association. uh,
Uh,
I had not considered the question.
Remind me, sashimi is uncooked, right? That's what you're describing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
flat.
it's
Yeah.
very clever. It's practically quivering. Um, with how recently it must have been sliced off the flank.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm very sorry, but uh, most of us humans can't eat raw meat. Like, fish is one of the rare exceptions.
hmm, that is interesting. Well,
And
I'm
especially raw meat that's on a planet that may have things our bodies aren't used to and that we couldn't be inoculated against.
Cherry is
he,
looking really longingly at the dino sashimi.
yeah,
Can you precog if we'll die from eating this?
Cherry will look at Zeke with a begging face.
He'll also tell the chief that he thinks they can handle knowing that he shares his affliction. But mostly want to know if dynamite will kill us.
okay. So he does he kind of so he's like letting the chief know like um that he's about to do what he's gonna do. Is that
Yeah,
what you're saying?
he's going to well ask for permission, I guess,
Okay.
and then clarify, answering his question that everyone here is to be trusted.
Okay. Yeah. So he asks the chieftain if he can basically if he can peer into the future. He extends a hand in acquiescence. Yeah. So of course that's uh, I I guess he would say something to the effect of thank you uh, for asking permission. I grant it in this case, and is happy to let you do that. So yeah, you can look into the future. What happens if you eat? Are you talking like if you just eat one, or if you have a generous helping, like
We have a
a normal?
meal. A meal.
All right,
We have a family dinner.
all right. Okay, so and yeah, so I think he would have a vision of I think in his vision he's looking He's looking down in in the like underbrush. He's outdoors at a a very definite like puddle of vomit,
Oh.
and can hear similar sounds from nearby, along with very distressed cherry noises.
Oh no! The dino sashimi looks so good. So sad.
The GM foiled again.
You could have just made it a not issue. I don't know the foiled again bit.
I know.
And Zeke tells everyone it's safe. No, I'm just kidding.
Rude.
Everyone was sick except Cherry. Cherry definitely could handle it. So does he come to his senses and say, "Yeah, no, it's a no for me, dog"? Does he do?
Yeah, no, he's like, it's a no for all of us, dog.
Cherry looks heartbroken at the beautifully plated sashimi.
I did a small catalog of the fruits and vegetables. I think I recognize everything else we can eat safe. We just
Yeah,
can't eat raw meat. I'm sorry.
says that. Says, well, that's no apology needed on your behalf. I apologize for not considering the difference in biology. Says
Oh, it's okay. Biology is very complex. Like, not many people really know about is somebody shutting her up.
Yeah, Cherry would stand out and say, "Eva, do you have that list with you?"
Oh, of course. Is it okay if I pull out my electronic device? She looks over at the chief.
yes, of course. And
Out comes the data slab.
all right. He would say to Cherry, he would express further apologies and ask her about this sashimi that she's talking about.
She would actually perk back up talking about sashimi from home.
Because he does say there there are fish in the streams, and there are deeper waters not too far, so he would consider it the responsibility of a good host to try to meet her request. And as he's saying that, a couple of the people that had brought food in, they bolt and go running up the stairs, like out the entrance you guys came in.
Oh my gosh, don't tell me they're going fishing right now.
They're going fishing right now.
They're going fishing right now. he definitely he seems a bit embarrassed, and he's one of them is already coming and clearing away the the Dinoshimi.
Cherry does not notice that people have run out of the room. And she will, be emphatically describing the beautiful colors of the sashimi and the different textures and tastes and things like that.
I feel like unless she gets batted down hard, Eva would interject with short, blissfully short snippets of the actual what's safe. As Cherry's describing something, there's a pause, and Eva talks about the exact conditions of that particular type of fish as well as she knows them.
Is that what in character the chief Mm-hmm.
Mhm. That's funny. Yeah. Then let's say they, uh, yeah, he appreciates that and seems interested. He does also, uh, he's he's trying to recommend the other food they have and apologizes. But he's asking Cherry questions about her description of the sashimi and the different kinds and um, it
I
sounds like
love how like the chief is like, "Oh no, they can't eat my dino sashimi! Quick, distract!" Like
Mhm.
keep asking questions.
I
Yeah, it
mean, he
seems like
lost face. Of course he is.
and
Yeah.
he he yeah he'll even ask her about the the melon carving that she did and you know I guess what kinds of fruit they carve back home and he would would be pointing out to her some of the fruits on the tray that would have a similar texture or flavor as the melon that she gifted him um, and he would also point out says I uh, considering some other things that you may not be accustomed to. He points at the little Jello, like the Jello bites, looking things. Says, these are some of the um, oh, how would he put it? He would say, these are some of the gastropods that we prepare, and they are quite delicious. I would say I'm not sure how your human biologies would take them, but I am confident that the taste would be excellent.
Harry looks intrigued, and she would kind of shyly ask him, "Is it rude to spit food out on your?"
Hmm. Well, don't worry. I believe we can make an exception in this case.
Harry's like, to taste the cool food.
This is an exploration of each other's cultures. I have I'm learning that some of my assumptions may have been wrong. Um,
uh,
and he's now seeming to second guess his recommendation that you try it, and tries to divert you back to uh, so yes.
don't don't
How,
kill don't kill the humans we just made friends with.
how did you learn to carve fruits so beautifully? I assume you did the work yourself.
Oh, uh, sure. She looks kind of like the loading dial would be like appearing on her forehead.
Hmm.
Oh, well, and then she kind of turns a little pink. She says, "Well, it's something that a lot of young women on my planet learn how to do. Um, my my mother taught me. I have to confess, I didn't really want to learn how to do it when she first attempted to teach me. Um, she, well, traditionally, it's thought to be something that helps you to find a husband and keep a husband, but we also use it as gifts for, platonic friends and um, that sort of thing. Uh,
I see.
my mother would probably be really disappointed because I have really not used it in that sense. But
There's
she
a
seems
yeah.
she
There's
seems
a
with the life I'm living.
there's a there's a mischievous glint in his eye as he's watching Cherry explain this.
Oh no. Okay, Cherry was already dying. All right. So she then says, "I
And on that note, no.
hope does anyone want to learn how to do it. I could show some of your people how to do it." Now it's Cherry's turn to redirect.
Says yes. I'm sure that some of my people would enjoy learning this from you. And he grins at her and takes a big one of those apparent slug jellies and pops it in his mouth.
Eva, unfortunately, I think would say now or at some point during all this that most gastropods are not safe to eat uncooked for us.
Thank you, Captain. I appreciate it.
Boo.
Without any sense of irony or recognition of Cherry's sarcasm, Eva says, "You're welcome."
Yeah, I actually didn't know that. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I guess I knew some people eat slugs or snails, but I guess
I had the base assumption that they were more often safe. I thought it was going to be more often safe. Yes, turns out, but based on my short little bit of research, no, more often no.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, it does turn out they're like you can eat them, but don't eat them raw.
Yeah.
So yeah, that poor chieftain is striking out on his his exotic offerings of food.
Well, how's he doing with the fruits and veggies? Can he impress him with how readily she identifies the different things and says that this is safe and this is safe?
Yeah, she nails it. She can get several of those, and they're she notices one that even by looking at it, it looks a bit odd, but it stands out to her as one. Yeah, that's that one. That one had been reported to make people sick if they ate it.
Cherry would go and she would reach for the box of different fruits, smaller fruits that she had brought, and she'd pull out
Yeah, cool.
dragon fruit and some figs, and she would say, "Here, why don't I show you how to carve these? And these we can eat safely."
All right. Yeah, they'll perk up at that and be interested in watching you demonstrate.
And since the box was smaller, there's like quite a few, or not smaller, since the box was smaller, since the fruits are smaller, there's actually quite a few of them inside the box. So
Oh, cool.
since she had individually carved all of these.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and let's call it at this scene. We'll fade to black as everyone is trying out different the foods and
Hopefully.
sharing. Yeah, avoiding the dangerous ones that Eva's pointing out, and also thanks to Zeke's recognition. Yeah, and having a nice little amiable meal uh, over this successful negotiation.
Sweet. Hey, Ben, could we possibly send you like a list of questions that we were hoping to ask over the meal
Yeah, sure.
that could
We
be
can-
answered, like not in the session?
Yeah, we could do some out of character. Get some kind of broad stroke stuff. That would
I
actually be
It
kind of
doesn't have
heat up
to
the.
say, but just like asking questions that we were hoping to.
Yeah, at
gonna
the very least, if I were able to come prepared next time with some answers to questions, curiosity questions that you guys had about their culture or foods or whatever stuff, or about the planet and the history and yada yada. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, that's a excellent idea. I like that a lot. So you
Great.
guys will put what you put in out of character planning, what you wanted to discuss it. I think we could consider this basically a successful broaching of you know whatever topics. You won't offend them by asking but just about any questions, and so
Nice.
you can get all of that, and we'll probably some of those might spark some in character discussion next session, but a lot of them I think will be simple enough that I can just rattle them off, and you guys can have your curiosity satisfied.
Woohoo.
Let's go ahead and do faves. We've gone a bit over and already put the XP in the character development thing. So Danielle, you're up first on faves.
Okay. I'm torn. So the two things I'm torn between. Oh my word, Dex! I will shoot your character so fast.
I'm realizing if we need to get to Robert sooner rather than later, that might be good.
Yeah. You want to start with Robert? I was gonna say my first thing though is that I loved the just outright question of like, you have a bot, but you treat him like a man. What's up with that? And like having to very suddenly put it into words was and diplomatically put it into words was very interesting. And anyway, and then my second favorite one was the dinner. I'm just gonna say the dinner period because that was fantastic.
Oh, good.
I'm happy to
All
pass
right.
to Robert.
Yeah, Robert, if you, because I know
Alright.
you usually need to get off a little sooner.
Yeah, I'll give my fave and bounce. My fave is the Dinoshimi prophecy.
Oh,
That was pretty good.
I want so bad to eat the forbidden sashimi.
Right. Oh man, I hope you got. I hope I did well. I hope you're proud of me. I was trying very hard to give minimal details in that vision.
I appreciate that. I do.
I also, yeah, I also tried to factor in personalities and figured, okay, they're not gonna be like, you know, huddling together trying to comfort each other through this. Like they're gonna do their own thing separately. Because I was imagining some pretty hilarious various scenarios, but I also felt like Zeke and Cherry were the two like most likely who were like, if Zeke was gonna eat one, Cherry was absolutely gonna eat it, and everybody else was a bit more uncertain.
Eva eats more vegetarian when she can.
Oh
So
yeah.
she probably would have been fine.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna bounce.
Alright.
Good night, y'all.
Later, Robert.
The Dinoshimi prophecy.
That's such a great name. That needs to be a movie.
Yes. Oh man. Yeah, see, I don't know. We can come back to Dex then and continue in our normal order.
That's fine. That's fine. I can't portmanteau this one because it means something else from what I do. But Bo's dinosaur compassion. Like, I'm sure you can figure out what the inappropriate portmanteau is.
Yeah, I don't know. Nothing jumped out to me, so I guess I'll leave my innocent little mind and let it off the hook this time. Not think about it too hard.
That scene was very kind of neat to see in character. Bo actually connecting with it's basically a predator that has become prey.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was interesting because it was also a little funny having the sort of unintended like, oh wait, whoops, the other characters are actually close enough to overhear some of this.
Yeah.
And um, and I realized I probably should have clarified at the moment, but it didn't seem like it was a big deal in the moment. Um, Obviously, when those kinds of things come up, if the character in question is like, well, I was meaning to be very careful that nobody heard or something like that, then I'm always fine retconning stuff like that. But it seemed like it was not a big deal to Ethan, so we went ahead and let it slide.
And of course, also the dinner.
Yes, of course.
I'll be a little more specific with that if you give me a second.
Yeah, go for it.
Not just the dinner, but the negotiation, and particularly Cherry kind of taking charge from Eva, and not letting Eva's downfalls, some word that means her negative qualities,
Shortcomings.
Hmm?
Shortcomings.
Shortcomings. That's what I'm looking for. Not letting Eva's shortcomings interfere with what we're here to do.
Yeah. Let's see.
Maybe just the negotiation, the dinner negotiation. I don't even know how to. Yeah, there you go. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, say there's not a super succinct way to put it. I think that's good enough.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I did think that's fun. That's a neat dynamic that the crew has going on, where Eva is ostensibly and explicitly in charge, but also in certain situations, there are multiple characters who know, like they have the wherewithal to say, no, we're going to do things differently, and Eva is also pretty gracious, all things considered, about going ahead and allowing that. I did catch the hint of a huff when when Cherry stepped in at first. Appreciated that little detail.
Don't know how well they come through, but yeah, I do try to make aggravated Eva grunt noises.
Yeah, they do come through well.
Good.
All right, Ethan, what are your faves?
I like Cherry trying to awkwardly explain that it wasn't a marriage proposal. The watermelon.
I'm trying to remember who I think it was Dex that I said that to, but it might have been Ben, but I had said that I thought it was a funny idea that, like, because I saw this TikTok reel where somebody was like, it was a Chinese person who had married a German and was living in, her best life in Germany. But she said, like, things my traditional Chinese mom taught me that she thought would help me to snag and keep a husband. And so many of the things were like folding this hand napkin to look like such and such, carving apples to look like swans, like just things like that, that it's just like, it's just definitely from another era. Cause like nowadays it's not exactly what people are putting on their like top 10 qualities must have, but anyway, so that's when I was like, it'd be really fun if Cherry's mom, like, just traditionally had taught her how to do this, because like like this will, this shows that you're like really good wife material, and like this will help you keep like how
Mhm.
will your husband respect you if you can't even do this basic traditional thing, like kind of thing. Because like I feel like her mom is
Right.
very progressive in a lot of ways, but I kind
Mhm.
of wanted to have some of their traditions since it's very important to them.
Yeah, and I mean, gift giving in general is like a pretty universal kind of courtship ritual. Um, so having a bit of a more traditional and kind of like uh, extravagant spin on it. It being yeah, well, it obviously it has to be handmade, and it should be of this particular style or kind. Makes sense. I like
Well,
that
also
touch.
gifting fruit in Japanese culture is like a really big deal.
Mm.
Hmm.
So like something that is considered like one of the best gifts you can give anybody. So like somebody moves into a new house, I get you a really expensive, really nice piece of fruit. And it's like, whoa, this is great. And it's not going to clutter up my house. That's
Yeah,
Good qualities.
that's fun. Let's see. That brings us to Avery.
Uh, Mine was the sashimi, all of it. Been tempting us. It
I
turns
want
out poison.
I wanted the bejeweled meat so badly. The forbidden dino noms. Why can I not have?
The forbidden dino noms.
May
They're,
the,
they're beautiful, cool like dino nuggies, and I was denied.
may the player wanted this physique. Y'all here.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I did. I I don't know what it is. I feel like though it's just I've just had a lot of fun with a few little of the details of some of these cultures that I get to come up with all on my own, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed a couple particular aspects of of this one. Um, yeah, I'm.
I'm looking forward to the chief accepting my marriage proposal.
Don't tempt me.
Oh no. I was gonna Carrie have
um,
to somehow talk her way out of I'm not engaged to you, but also I really need to keep the peace with you. It's just a
oh
really
man,
funny dynamic in my head.
There's a whole Red
yeah.
Dwarf episode on that.
A whole what?
Red Dwarf episode.
Red dwarf.
Yeah, it was that
Oh,
really old British sci-fi.
gotcha. I think they've played around with that concept a little bit in Star Trek too.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah. Especially the old one with Kirk.
I was gonna say every other episode. Um,
Yeah.
it's like, oh wow, stunningly gorgeous female alien. Oops, we're married now.
No, there's one specifically I'm thinking of where there's man, I'm gonna have to find it now, but it was like he's essentially like almost immortal on this planet and he falls for like the female doctor on the
Mm.
starship and expects her to like abandon her crew for him and she's just like lol what no.
Oh man, yeah. Um, it you immediately made me think of Wheel of Time. I don't guess you ever got to that point in the books. Um,
If it's past book 6 then no.
right. Yeah, I know it was, but there was definitely a oh, you accidentally stumbled into our, you know, one of our marriage customs, and you've done your part, and now I can complete my part at any time I want. So you're just you're
Oh
dangling on my
no,
hook.
what? That
Yeah,
does that and or does it happen to someone else?
happens to somebody else.
Okay.
I couldn't remember if you knew about that just from me talking about it, but
Mm-mm.
maybe you should read on and find out.
Yeah, I'd have to start the whole series over at this point, TBH.
I know. Let's see. Okay, so I'm supposed to be coming up with my favorite. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, I don't know. I think hmm. Okay, definitely. I definitely have to mention. I guess. Let's see. I'm trying to think how to put it succinctly, but like Pete quibbling over the definition of a weapon. uh, that was hilarious, and it also gave me a little bit of an opportunity to showcase the slightly disparate command over mandate that the natives have.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be like, I said, weapon. Weapon's the right word, right? am I missing something? He's like running over the stuff in his head, like, yeah, that was.
Oh my word. When both Pete and Eva were like, I mean, I wouldn't really call it a weapon. I just like felt my eyes. I was having to physically resist actually rolling my eyes.
Oh, it was a great moment. That definitely deserved a mention. Um, and I think, yeah, maybe I don't know how to I don't know how to put it, but I guess kind of altering the prophecy. Maybe I could say
Hmm.
and yeah, I think it was kind of expected because there was there was part of the outcome from the vision that Zeke had that you guys wanted to be you guys made a specific choice to avoid you know uh, bringing to pass, and guys did a pretty good job of that. Um, Even though I hadn't, there wasn't an extremely clear path to changing that, since you only got a little snippet of kind of the end of or halfway through the interaction. So yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Um, well, and I just also um I'll put it this Zeke turning the question back on the
Mm.
on the chieftain,
Oh yeah, that was good.
the telepathic question, because that was it didn't end up necessarily being a gotcha exactly, but it was I thought it was a fun and kind of clever way to in within the flow and of that conversation, get a good bit of information out of him about when he had really just initiated the contact, apparently primarily to give a warning and express a little bit of curiosity about Zeke's situation, and Zeke was able to turn it into a little bit of fact finding of his own.
Yeah. Though I think, hey, Avery, is it safe to assume from that interaction that the chieftain has metapsionics as well as telepathy?
I mean, he would have to, right, to know that Zeke was
Yeah.
the. I mean, because
Mhm.
Zeke didn't really give any indication that
He had
Yeah,
that.
Zeke would know. Yeah, Zeke would know that for sure. That his that the chieftain was apparently able to see through his cloak, and
Really, that would be all we know that he can do. Well, I guess telepathy.
yeah,
So we know confirmed telepath and metapsionics,
hmm yeah,
but he's
and
really a seer. So like that made me infer that he was potentially also able to use Oracle, but maybe not.
yeah. I was gonna say, I think Zeke asking, I didn't uh, I didn't like drill down on it too much and ask you specifically how you worded it, but I was kind of getting the impression based on the way you asked the the chieftain that I felt like that might have kind of been a wait. What did Zeke just ask the chieftain? Did he just ask permission? Could have. It seemed like it could have been like a wait a second from the rest of the crew. Like what? What does Zeke know? What does the chieftain know? What's going on here?
No, I
Or did you intend it to be more subtle?
well in telepathic contact, but
Oh, okay.
I
I
assume
mean,
that was telepathically.
yeah, the chieftain asked if he could share, his abilities, not if Zeke would. So I mean, Zeke would have kept that under wraps, and
I got you. Okay, that makes a little more sense. I didn't drill down on it at the time, and nobody else really reacted, so I figured I could clarify it later because I thought that there was room for me having misunderstood what you meant. But yeah, so uh, yeah, I enjoyed that little interaction there as well. Um, yeah, I think that's everybody. So we can go ahead and post those and wrap the session, I think.
Wrap that up and give it to a child on Christmas. We are done.
Oh man, every time I say a wrap,
Yeah,
Hmm.
sorry. It's ingrained. Watched it too many times.
yeah, it's true.
All right, well, I'll
Um,
go ahead and end the session or end the
yeah,
stream.